Warning, we're just having fun. If you take stuff too serious, this channel may not be for you, buddy. Hello, and welcome back. Like Theodore said, guys, he asked if he could do the intro. Who am I to tell him no? This week, we are back on our Toyota Stout. I made us a list, and unlike Santa Claus, I'm not checking it twice. I am gonna put it right there, and we are gonna, we're gonna admire this rear suspension real quick. If you haven't seen the two-part build where we did the link bars and then the coilovers and got everything painted and braced and gusseted and blah, 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 you want to check that out. Hot damn, that looks mighty fine. Quick recap if you're new, 92 Toyota. As you can see underneath here, the interior's 92, but we rebodied it with a 67 Toyota Stout. And I am hoping, I'm not for certain, but I'm hoping this episode, we're gonna get to drive this thing again. Additionally, I'm hoping we can get her looking a little better. She needs all the help she can get. The bed needs to go back on, but before that, let's do stuff in an order that makes sense. We need to bleed the rear brakes. And I seen a bleeder here on this thing, so we probably want to bleed on this and make sure they're good before we get the bed in our way. And we want to figure out our wiring, because I'm used to my old vehicles, right? You got like 4 wires running to the back, and that's all you need to make something function. Well, this son of a butternut squash has like 12 wires running back there. I don't know what's what and who's who and where's where. Theodore's going to investigate and make sure I'm doing a good job. The harness, or the diagram I found, did not show any white or black wires. I'm just assuming these are grounds. So we're gonna use our meter and just check it for continuity. That's a ground. That's a ground. I don't suspect any of these other ones to be grounds. I'm just gonna check them real quick. Battery's in, so we're gonna go lights on. And now we're gonna look for our running lights. I think that's gonna be our green wire, solid green. There's a couple of them. So next, we'll swap this to volts, 12 volt, or DC, I mean. Golly. We got 11.7 there, 11.7 there, and the rest of these should be dead. All right, so these 2 green ones are our running lights. Next thing I'm gonna do, since we know we got 11.7 here, I'm gonna check this as our ground, and we're reading voltage. So these 2, I still believe to be grounds. Now that one there is reading as a ground. So we got 3 grounds going back here, maybe. So then one should be stop, one should be left, one should be right. There should be one for reverse lights as well. What are you wires for? Slap this baby in reverse. And I checked them all and did not find voltage anywhere. That don't mean it don't have reverse lights. It just means that maybe it ain't hooked up underneath the truck. Which I'll be honest, I ain't too worried about them. As that blinker gives its best war cry, let's see if we can find it. Huh. This green wire here just become a -4 volts. And that's the only one who changed. That's kind of a thick boy. And that one's kind of a thick boy. So maybe those are our 2 blinkers. All right, a little more investigating, and I think I have our answers. That one was the left hand. I swapped to the right hand, our green and yellow. That other thicker one, it swapped to 4 volts. So that's that one. The green and white is our stop. If you don't have one of these, you may want to get one if you work by yourself. That's an adjustable hood prop rod that I use to bleed brakes by myself sometimes, hit the brake pedal like that. It's adjustable, super handy. So I did that to hit the brakes and check power back there. That green and white one had power. So that gives us a pretty good breakdown. I bet that red one is for our reverse, and the switch just ain't hooked up underneath, like in the transmission or off of it or whatever. That right there is what we need to know. Like that? Huh? Oh yeah. I said, do you like that? If you watched last week's second channel, I finally mounted up this blue reel that's been sitting in our way. Be sure to check it out. We're gonna get some air where we can do the little suction deluxe job on these brakes. Yeah. Oh, I bet that bleeder's never been open. We may be messing up by touching it. I'm afraid to turn on it. It is not feeling good. We'll see if the little I spun it pulls any fluid or not. I am not seeing any. Oh, maybe it'll help if we loosen it instead of tightening it. I bet that could probably help a little bit. And I see fluid right there. Geez, rookie. Oh yeah. Can y'all see the air in that? That's gonna have air in it because I had cracked that line before and it just bled out of there a lot. So of course, anytime you bleed your brakes, you want to keep her topped off. We're going to top her off. And then I'm going to turn this on and I'm going to let it flush that out. Oh yeah, over here she's dropping fast. She's just drinking it down. All right, I like that. Give her a little flush job. I used our sucker and got some fluid to both of the rear wheel cylinders. And I just realized something. I'm wanting to put front brake pads on this thing. It really just needs a set of pads. And the way that rear proportioning valve thingy my bobber works, it actually ties into the front. So if you see that T right underneath there, that's coming from back there. But that also goes down to the front. So we probably want to bleed all the brakes. So I need to do the front as well. If we're going to do the front as well, we might as well do it when we're in there working on the brakes. So we'll call this good enough to go ahead and get the bed on. Start to get the bed on. I just realized we're gonna have to do something about our fuel filler neck. Oh yeah, some welding still required. Welding 1/4 inch to thin sheet metal, that's always fun. Try not to burn through. Our bed mounts, I had braced them before. I was just full welding those out. It never fails, folks, that sound of a good quality weld, that soothing crackling, puts them to sleep every time. Here we go, heave ho. Yeah. Oh dang, we lost a hubby. Talk smack, get whacked. So that bed support, I noticed it was all bent up. And that's actually gonna pull that in. So as we straighten that out, it should have pushed that out. It should make us look a little better. Now our gas tank, the filler neck's looking right here. And our gas door from the factory was up here. Oh, look, that's got a nut on it. So I thought it was just screwed, but it's actually bolted. What an ugly little gas door. They didn't even try to make anything flush. They were just like, hell, overlap it, it'll work. And the hinge comes back. So I don't know if we're gonna end up cutting this out and then sliding the whole thing back or what. Looks like we need some sheet metal work going on. If only I knew a sheet metal expert. As I said, that's gonna be real awkward if it ain't slick. Nathan's standing there like, what the hell? And if it was Bill, Bill would be like, I'm gone. See y'all later, man. Oh yeah, this looks like it's gonna be a little more fun than I expected. I did get our bed lined up. Just dropped it down until all of our bolts start in our bed mounts. Then I picked it straight back up, and I think we need to get our little filler neck. This is factory from the 92 right here. We're gonna try to pop her on and see what kind of magical stuff we can make happen. Yeah, get on there. Yeah, get on there. Jeez, make me earn it, huh? Yeah. Hell yeah, thing's about to get ugly. Let me measure this. 4 3/16. That filler neck is heading where the bed floor is. And that's a problem. because there's absolutely no drop in there. So where that gas door is, can't just come straight back. There'll be no fall. You won't be able to put gas in it. Then we'll run out of gas and it won't have no gas in it.
It ain't got no gas in it.
So there's a lip underneath there which starts right there, and I use that to measure from that lip over to where the filler neck is, and it's that 4 1/4 or 3/16. So right in there, we're gonna have to cut a piece of that bed out. That way that can come up, and then we'll have to just keep plugging away. Not gonna get overly mathematical here. 4 inches, actually 4 3/16 I meant. So that's kind of center. And then I'm gonna go total of 5 inches wide, so 2 1/2 each way. And there should be kind of square. And I ain't got a clue how far we should go out. So for now, I'm gonna go right there. We'll connect all that up and we'll slice her out. Boy howdy. That could have been bad. I knew that filler neck was underneath there, so I was being real careful. And then at one point cutting through, I seen a piece underneath there, and it was so skinny, I thought it was one of the bed braces. So I was like, oh, we're gonna have to cut all the way through that. Well, it was not. It was the tube for our metal vent, and that is connected to our tank right now. That has a little bit of fuel in it, a lot of vapors in it. So luckily a spark didn't roll all the way down. So we pert near died, but as you can see, we did a pretty good job of finding center at least. And it looks like for this to have be able to come up, that we're gonna have to take out quite a bit more of that. No glove, no love. I pulled the cap off that and kind of rotated on this and realized we weren't gonna have to cut out too much, just a hair more. I mean, that works. In fact, if we had a good door out here, just something I can put fuel in it. I'll be honest, I'm not too picky here. I'll weld that SOB right there. Let's see what's behind door number 1. That's just not a good place to cut out. Now we know why it was bolted shut, because that fits like crap. This ain't going as planned. I don't think I want to move this. There ain't nothing that's going to make that look good. I think the way it looks best is, I guess we could cut it and we could shave it. I'm not worried about doing that right now. I just don't want to cut out that whole thing and move it up here. I did not want to try to run this up and into the bed floor as far as you fill it up in there, because then if you got stuff in your bed and you need gas, it's in the way. However, I went and looked through my junkyard to see if we have anything that has a cool gas door we could rob off of something and swap here. And I don't. Then you'd have a gas door and a gas door and a gas door. This one's actually in decent shape, but it's all, they've tied these things into all this bracing and stuff. So if we cut that out of there, we're gonna get the bracing and blah, blah, blah. I think we're gonna leave those and try to run this thing up through the bed. Here's what I'm thinking. To the top of that ridge, to the bottom of that mount is right at 4 inches. So if this turned vertical, we've got to cut this down enough and this down enough that off this mount here, up and over is right at 4 inches. If this works, we'll be a hero. If it don't work, we're gonna have a pile of scrap parts. Let's start by removing our old hoses. Well, these have probably been on here since 1992, 91, when the truck was made. Yeah, so they're gonna fight us a little bit. Yar! Maybe we try hooking her, see. Hey, Ma, puddins in the shop just a hooking it. Yeah, have a little looby bath. That'll pop the seal. See that? Slippery when wet. I think I said 4 inches-ish. That's going from the top of the bed, AKA the bottom of this flange, kind of being the goal. Well, here's the deal. This has to turn. It only has so much turn to it. So we need to keep this piece as short as possible. Flares right there. So I'm gonna give us right at 1 inch to be able to clamp to. And that gives us right at 1.5 inches here, which is gonna leave us 2.5 for this. You know what the best part of this is if this works out, we're gonna have a really big obnoxious hole that somebody cut in the floor for nothing. Put a little bevel on that where it's easier for a hose to start. And then our flange, we need to flatten this out. Works over here. If you could follow along, that'd be great. Go! There we go. Just flatten it out a little bit. Ain't gonna be perfect. And we've also got to add our vent, which we ain't hardly got any room for, but it's gotta go somewhere. See, earlier I purposely cut through this because I knew we were gonna have to modify it. I was just trying to be proactive, guys. That's what it was. Drill us a hole. Time for a little welding. Ow. Not the prettiest thing, but got her welded up. Our accidental cut, I got it welded up. And hot potato. Woo, 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 woo. This thing flows like 50 CFM. She'll cool something off real quick. Now this is so stubby. I think as we thread this into here, the bottom of that cap's gonna try to block our vent. And it does, just a little bit. Not much so. And I don't know it really matters. A vent's a vent probably. If we overfill it, it's gonna make a mess at some point regardless. I'm not gonna get into our threads, but just that lip right there, I'm gonna shave just a hair down. Pop our custom cap on. Hopefully y'all can see where our hole is and then how I ground that lip down some. There's Stubby Wubby. Off our bed mounts, I said we're looking for the bottom to be at around 4 inches, which I'm eyeballing to be about right there. So that's where that flange needs to be. So then we gotta trim it down. Woo! It's gonna be short. Real short. Got her clamped on, trying to hammer a little bit of curve into that. I think we can work with this. Built this sucker back together, shorten up our little hose, and there we go. We got Stubby Wubby. The real question is, how are we looking as far as 4 inches? Oh, just about perfect, guys. I think we nailed it. The hard part now is determining where this needs to come up through up there. Best I can tell you, I'm gonna set the bed down. When this gets really tight, it's hard to squeeze the camera in. I'm gonna just like mark around on there, try to trace around that as much as I can, guesstimate where center is, and then we'll drill a hole from the bottom and then hole saw from the top probably. Have I mentioned how fun this is? Ow, 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 ow. Ooh. Yeah. Woo! Doing a headstand. Yeah! Whew. I like to do that every once in a while, guys. It gets all the blood to my brain, and it helps you think better. Right there's my guesstimation. This mount's gonna be in our way. Whoop, when you lop it off. A little clearance. We need to aim for a hole saw size. We'll probably just go for 3 inches. A very accurate lube job is a vital detail. There's a brace there or something. That's unfortunate. Just use the shape of that to kind of hold that into place. It'll still cut it out. Drop our bed down, squeeze that up in. And now, I'm just gonna kind of eyeball where I think one of these screws will hit. Right there. Those must not be the proper hardware. Found the proper hardware. I guessed on a second one, and I missed by a hair. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That one just stripped. That one started, and that one started. Y'all know what they say. If 2 won't hold it, 3 never would have. Unfortunately, that one's landing right where that hump is, so we may take a sheet metal hammer and try to smack that down. I'm gonna make sure this one's nice and tight. This ain't what y'all call a sheet metal hammer. Oh yeah, blow all that down in your gas tank. That's good. Move a little debris. Loosen that just a hair. There we go. Little movement helps. And I think she bit. Even if it's a little crooked, I don't care. I'm gonna send it home. That's it. That's solid. That is solid. Put your cap on. Like I said, I don't really like doing those because if you ever have something in your bed, it's hard to get to. So if you know you're ever gonna cover that up, you better have a full tank before. But for a mini truck, this thing has a really big bed. It's super wide. It's got decent length to it. So if you're gonna haul some crap, just don't cover that up unless you have to. We should have done that before we done that, because now we got that. And you can see right through there. See what I mean? Now some of y'all are thinking it. Someone thought, heck, just weld that crap back in. I heard you think it. That's what I'm gonna do. Yo, ho. A few little tack welds and she pretty well looks stock. You can't even tell it ever happened. Now in this scenario of backtracking, you can get as wild as you want there as far as the grinding and the smoothing. The fact of the matter is that metal is pitted, as you can see right in there. And with most of that weld knocked down, where it's just not obvious, as that rust, it's just gonna blend pretty good. And that, my friends, is why I'm a metal worker, not a wood worker. Because I tell you, the good thing about metal is, you cut it short, you cut it wrong, put it right back there, weld it on, try again. Gas filler neck, DUN, she's done. Alright, bed is going on for the final time. Got washers on both sides, got eye locks. And check this out. I think Toyota knew I was gonna be swapping this one day. They put dual gas tank doors because they knew I needed easy access to the bed bolts. That little wonderful trick works on both sides. Out of curiosity, see if we can pull these. Hopefully they don't break. That's bent in, and that lens I think is a little warped from it being bent in. Just looks a little cracked, so we don't want that to snap. We got a single, then a double. Don't break. Look at this. You can tell the license plate was supposed to be over there because in the bottom they put some clear lens on this side so it would illuminate it. Look who the cat drug in. Guys, check this out. This is gonna work out better than I thought. For some reason, in my head, I thought these single filament bulb holders were as bright as that, which is just a running light. But check this out. That's a bright sucker. And then obviously, boom, that's a bright sucker. So if we had our lens on there, that's your running light, brake light, and then if we had our blinker working, those actually being good. I assumed they were gonna be rusty and crusty. A lot of that kind of stuff usually is. So I just bought some of these cheapo ones, but they had a little metal base, so I figured we could weld them in if we needed to. But the good news is, that's working. If it ain't broke, we ain't gonna fix it. Pop her back in, got the headlights on and the blinker on. You can tell from the beautiful noise that flasher makes. Hey yo, we're blinking. Dang, these suckers are still color coordinated from 67 all the way up till 92. I don't think Toyota changed their colors. Where'd our running light go? Yeah, we must have a bad connection for the running light. There it is. If it don't work, just knock on it. Boom, baby. Well, shoot, that's easy enough.
The hell's that in the bushes? It's Bigfoot. Hey Theo, where you going?
Theo didn't like that. I'm Littlefoot. I think I only wear 10.5, maybe 11. Guys, our factory Stout frame, well, we kept her for R&D purposes. Recycle and damage, that's R&D.
I was gonna ask you what that was for. I go, I'm thinking it's the R&D I know.
I told Bill, I was like, man, if as good as shape those tail lights were in, if we had the factory wiring on here, we could just steal it and splice it in to our 92 side. So we should be able to snip her about right there and make that easy. Everything's looking good, guys. The only difference is the light green with the black goes to your green with the red. That's just your blinker on your driver's side, if I remember correctly. Other than that, see, it's a plug and play as far as matching your colors go. Gives a nice little soldered connection there. And we'll put a little heat shrink on them. Then I'll be able to pick that up. We'll kind of loop over our top cross member to take out some of the slack. And then I'll run this along here. Now that it's all plug and play. Got our running lights on. Go ahead, Bill, pick a side. Left blinker. Go for right. Right blinker. Try them stoplights. Oh yeah, baby.
Come on.
Oh yeah. Well, except the one side that just shut off, but that's all right. I did cut open our harness here where it snakes to that side. We're gonna splice this wire out for our license plate light, because she did not account for one since Toyota made it out the bottom of that one lens. So I'll heat shrink that up too. I'm gonna show y'all, but I ain't gonna lock down this harness yet, because I'm trying to think ahead. We're gonna be building a bumper, and we're probably gonna have to be bolting that right to where we need to strap this down. So I kind of got it wrapped up how I want it. Our two grounds, I put an eyelet on them. We can just boom, ground that to the bed, and then we'll zip tie all this up like in here, which is probably where our bracket's gonna go. And that's also why that's why I'm leaving it down right now. This worked out really good, guys. Getting everything hooked up was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. It's almost like Toyota knew I was going to be doing this swap in the future or something. Oopsie daisy. Taking the front clip off for the last and final time, hopefully. One, we're gonna get in here before I forget, because I keep forgetting this part, our AC line. A lot easier to do right now. There we go. And with any luck, this replacement one I found online is gonna be the correct one. Please be the correct one. Huh? That's looking kind of similar-ish. Geez, even comes with O-rings on it. Pre-lubed. They're wet. Go ahead, get that side going. Now here's where we see. Now I notched that before. Hey, hey. All right, we need a little longer bolt. Gotta bend it just a little bit to clear down there. We don't want our aluminum AC line rubbing that metal. That's how you get a hole. I just remembered that bolt was on our old one, so I got her out the scrap trailer. AC line, good to go. Oh yeah. One of the big things we're trying to take care of is the headlights. Whole point of having to pull the front end. So let me show you what we got going. This obviously has a light with your running light and a high beam, and then additional high beam, I believe. And then I guess this would be a running light and a turn signal. I just assumed it was just a turn signal. We'll figure that out in a minute. For now, we'll concentrate on the headlights. And we got that much of the factory harness to use, so we're going to use it. That way this thing stays plug and play. Now, instead of taking this and hooking it up to the factory wiring, I decided to use a relay harness. This is you can get it for like 18 bucks on Amazon. H4 headlamp relay harness kit for cars with 2 headlights. That's funny. We're about to hook it up to one with 4. Do not fear though, running the power through these relays is going to supply more power to those Stout headlights than they've probably ever had before. And that is our passenger side fender. So this harness, she's pretty simple. We need to mount our relay somewhere. Boom, feeder 12 volts. It has its own fuse. And then this plugs into the factory headlight socket thingy-mabobber. So then when you turn your headlight switch on, that's how it's getting its signal to turn these on. And that makes it pretty nice. Now we could have built something like this, but for the price, by the time we went and bought all the crap and then spent a day figuring it out, whatever, this was just the smart route to go, I think. So for us on this, the bright should be the red with the yellow. And on this, it should be this socket over here, so the blue. So we need to go blue to red with yellow, the white to our red with green, and then the white with black on here, that'll be our ground. Solder that baby up. Do not forget to put your heat shrink tube on. It's getting hot, hot, hot. One thing I don't know is if this ground will be long enough or if we need more, but we're just gonna try it and hope for the best. Smoking. Smoking. Now trust me, I'm aware this harness is not the most attractive thing, but let's not act like any of this factory wiring is, okay? I mean, I've seen a lot better. We need to mount this somewhere close to the battery, and this little plastic lip, I was just thinking we could maybe just mount it like that. Now the fender runs about right here, so if we ever have to change these, you can reach up underneath here and have to use one of those stubby screwdrivers. It wouldn't be fun, but it would be doable. I don't know where else to go with it. Hold on. Hold on. There's a hole there already. Step it out one size. Yeah. Put our nutsert in. This harness stays linked together, so as long as we just mount one, it'll be fine. That right there is a lot easier to get to if we ever got to change those with the fenders on. That's a little smarter place to put that, I think. Now this one for our headlight up here is probably going to have to wrap around the battery that way, which I didn't want to, but it don't really matter. This is obviously right here to hook up, easy peasy. And then this will plug into our factory headlight thingy. That's parking that sucker right there. Boop. Pop us another nutsert here for ground. Now, luckily I got real short quarter 20 bolts here, as you can see. Yep. Hooked our ground or our power wire up, kind of snake that around. Our one for this side will come through right up in here. We'll connect that together. Our harness ran it up underneath here with our other wires. It just hops over to this side. Now we need to ground this. There's actually a ground right there, so I'm gonna rob it. Or I'll borrow it, I'm gonna ground that to there. Now I didn't have the same connection. We're gonna have to use this headlight one. And on this one, I just put some male connectors on there just because I couldn't find another piece of this harness, which is annoying, but it is what it is. Guys, I'll still have to sort out our turn signals or running lights up in the fenders. Not really a big deal, but it's late into the evening. Mama's about to go to women's group at church, and that leaves me in charge of hot rod, and we like to get into shenanigans. So I'll be back on her in the morning. Yesterday we upgraded our wiring. Today we're gonna upgrade our lighting. These babies right here are octane lighting. 93 octane. I added the 93 part. When I was looking for a harness for the headlights, I came across these on the Amazon. Very hard to get out of the box. And what I like about them, they take an H4 bulb, okay, so it's replaced, the bulb's replaceable, and then this lens don't look all goofy. You know, everyone puts those new style LED headlights on something old, just looks terrible. If that's your style, I don't mean to offend. It's just not mine. You know what I like them to look like? Kind of factory-ish. These are cheap. I want to say this set of 4 lights was maybe $100. That's a lot cheaper than the competitors such as Holly, who sell retro brights or whatever, light brights, whatever they sell. These are cheap. With that being said, you get what you pay for. Some modification required. We'll take our little retaining lens off. And these little nubby wubbies, well, they are not like the nubby wubbies that are on the original lights here. That has a little nub, so the bucket has a very little notch, and that ain't so little. It's all right, guys. I've got some side cutters, some pliers. I've even got some foam for sealing up around like your leaking trailer house windows. We're gonna get her fixed up. Best part is y'all probably thought I was playing. I'm not. Cut these things and I'm gonna flatten them down. With all of them cut, I'm just kind of bending that straight and then try not to break the glass and bend her down. It's real advanced stuff we're pulling off here. With all them flattened out, let's check it. As you can see, it actually sits down. I need to bend that one just a little more, but other than that, she sits good. The only problem after that is then when you put this on there, there's actually a little bit of space in between there. And the headlight, if you kind of shove on it, it just barely moves some. That's where our trailer house foam comes in. Between the nubs, just kind of ripping us a little piece here. I had this left over from just fixing the blend door or flapper door on the Datsun on the second channel. And yeah, I know it's a little redneck, but I also know it's gonna work. And I also know it saved us hundreds of dollars, like we had swapped on our car insurance.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
So that sat in there. Let's pop our little retainer on. The wiggle test? Oh yeah. And that right there is the professional way that Octane Lighting wants you to install their product. Got our second one fixed up, and check this out. If you've got dual lights like we do in their harness, they just make it where it's a plug and play because this bulb is exactly like this one, but it's supposed to be brights only. So all they do is give you that then subtracts a wire from it. But because Toyota was so dang smart and ahead of their time, their harness back here, they've already done that. So we don't even have to run that because this is already stepped down to head or brights only. Damn geniuses. I'm telling y'all, they knew I was gonna swap this bad girl. Hillbilly lighting upgrade complete. Now, as you may see on this side, that fender's already on. Let me show you what we're gonna do about our blinkers. It's a real simple change, guys. There used to be one bulb that would be your blinker that had the yellow stripe on it, and it had one of those grounds that would run to it. And then there's another one that was your running light on the Toyota, and that was our solid green. And that other ground would run to it. So as you can see, I just cut all that, put on our connectors, and I just put both grounds into one. So there's our 3 wires. And then of course over here, it'll be a plug and play because there's our 3 wires. Yeah, my weight chair. Man, that chair still ain't friends. Telling y'all, you're missing good stuff on the second channel. Kind of set our fender into place, and then we can connect a couple wires. Of course, this harness, whoa, ho, ho, ho. The harness right there, I ran it around the battery over here. So we'll get it plugged in. Then we should be able to just slip this up into place. Now, before we get too buck nasty bolting that one down, let's check it. Oh, Rupert, turn on my headlights. I can't see shit. Bam! Oh, are those the brights? Yeah, I'd say so. Shoo! That baby's gonna light up like a Mercedes Benz. What about if we don't need to perform an X-ray? There we go. There's just our regular low beams. Had to turn out the tool room light where I could kind of see. Yeah, guys, I think we're gonna have pretty good lighting out of this thing. Like I said, like an $18, $19 harness, $100 lights. If you're kind of modernizing your vehicle, which we went that way with a little bit bigger wheels, tinted windows, I think this is an awesome upgrade. When they're off, they don't look crazy, but when they're on, they just kind of go with the rest of the truck. Modern-ish, but not too modern. I gotta get some bulbs for that anyways. I just wanted to make sure it was gonna try to light up. Well, just like you've seen me take the front clip off 1,000 times, you've also seen me put it on. So I'm gonna put it together, only this time we gotta get all of our bolts started. So it's a little different. There's one that goes down in here we ain't been putting in. There's one that goes right here. This time we get to go together 100%. Do you have a fender that wants to be a little pain in the booty and don't like to have a good gap with the door? Are you a body shop who prides yourself on proper gaps? I do. That's why they call me Old Matt, the guaranteed gap. Here at Matt's Guaranteed Gaps, we'll do whatever it takes to get a good gap. Whatever it takes. Why else y'all think they put bed hooks on these mini trucks? No, hold on. We're slipping. I don't know if y'all could see that fender move back as I did that. But guys, it's just a helping hand. I mean, I can grab on the fender and pull it like that. It's just hard to do that and then tighten down stuff. I just tighten on it till I get that centered up. And then we'll tighten it down, and that does help our gap over here. When that fender's off there, it kind of whoo, whatever. So then you got to put it on there and whoo, undo it. That ball just tightened up. That's a factory hole, guys. It's got all kinds of slop in it, so you can move these around. So as you've seen, I just kind of picked up on that. That gets our body line matching a lot better. The stuff where we want it. All we gotta do is lock it down. Now this fender was problematic throughout the build. So at one point I put a relief cut in here and then realized it really didn't need it. So we just need to weld it back together, kind of like I did the bed. Just gonna flatten out some of this because our little nose cone thingy boop, pops right there. The rest of the weld, we ain't got to smooth her out completely. Little weld, be a little extra strength. Just having grabbed the first rattle can color we got on the toolbox. Espresso, should be about perfect. From back here, can't even tell it ever happened. Much better. Our line was hitting our notch. Just, you want to keep an eye on that. Again, you'll be cutting a hole in your line. Our 2 bolts I'd put up here, I realized they got to go through this as well, so I had to take them out too. And with that, everything's clearing, so I'm just going to zip the front of this together. Kind of exciting, guys, going on for the final time. Everything's in. The only thing that got a little funky on me is our grill is hitting the bolt that holds our AC line, but luckily it's hitting the bolt, so we don't got to worry about it rubbing the AC. Oh, except for the part where it's rubbing the AC. I can bend on that. So over here, I actually put a 1/2-inch nut back behind there just because it kind of shoves it out where it kind of flows better, because if not, that's sunk way back in and that's pushed out. Looks a little like that. Feeling a little funky after seeing this old girl together. Me and Theodore had to run into town, get a couple things to be able to finish this up. Dang, look at all that dirt. Trying to clean up our socket. The thing's so deep in there, it's hard to get to. Now this kind of having a little whiteness to it, I thought we'd try some LED bulbs in here to kind of turn these white. And I found these ones called Cool White, which made me think they may be a little subtle. I think these were metric. Maybe they're not. Maybe they are 10/32. If they weren't, they are now. And look what I got right here. This thing only had one turn signal lens, and I got to looking and I found this one set on eBay. And it says Japan. Slick said they looks like they've been sanded on. He thinks they're original ones that someone probably restored. They were kind of sold as new, allegedly. I don't know or care. Now that side's way brighter than that side. So what's going on here? I noticed the side was dim, but damn. We gotta get that fixed or it's gonna look like Forrest Whitaker. Whether those are new, old, whatever, they look way better than that one. That one's been growing stuff. Getting Stout's parts is kind of hard to do. So these babies here, they're hen's teeth. All right. Well, I like that side. Just got to get this side better. The main difference I can tell is that one's nice and shiny, still has a coating. This one's dull and rusty. Don't worry, I got some metallic paint right here. She's a little titanium silver. So if she needs to be more reflective, we'll make her more reflective. Shoo! Got her metal flaked out. I went ahead and painted inside this one as well to hopefully help balance them out. And on top of that, I went ahead and swapped the wires on this side where instead of the blinker bulb being on, just the running lights on. And that seemed to make a big old difference. Yeah, I had my wires hooked up backwards. I was trying to zip through this. I ain't trying to spend a lot of time on it, guys. It just kind of whooped me a little more than I anticipated. I'm just kind of having to show you what you're going to get into. Shoo! I think you could even tell on camera, they're just too white compared to those. So I'm gonna try a regular 1157. I ordered a big old box of them, so they should be here in a bit. Front end's together, guys, and I'm tired of wiring. I'm tired of fitting body panels, blah, blah, blah. I think it's time to do a little more fabricating. Quick cleanup where we ain't got a multiple mess situation. As I start to stare back here at our possible bumper build, I realize we need to do a little body work first. I'm wanting to build the bumper up towards the bottom of this, and someone took a notch out of it, and she's dented up pretty good right here. I know just the old girl for the job. Oh yeah. Go on in there. You hear me revving her? Yeah. Pull that BRZ up, see what happens. Next piece we need. Yeah. We're gonna chock our wheels. And then we're gonna get some Toyota on Toyota action going. See, ratchet straps are much more useful than only setting gaps, guys. In fact, there ain't much you can't do with, that you can't do without a ratchet strap. All right, we got a little tension on her. You can tell this is gonna slip eventually. But now something's gotta give and move. So it's gonna be that car, that truck, or that bed. Let's just give our chain a little sketcher bounce and see what happens. Oh yeah, she moved some. Relax. Move our hook over. Another little sketcher bounce. Now this is some pretty thick metal they used back there, so we're gonna use a thick hammer, not a little rink dink one. I'm gonna put a little more tension on that, and then on that side of the caved in area, we're gonna smack, and hopefully it'll let it come back. Be sure to swing that right next to those taillight lenses you can't get. Taking 2 screws out would be entirely too much work. She's still caved in, but not near as much as she was. And we're not gonna get it perfect, I can promise y'all that, because this whole thing back in here where everything laps is shoved in too. We're just trying to get it a little better. Theo loves the Torola. I think it's his favorite car. We'll lob out the old jagged edge. Take this piece of poster board, make it oversized and break it. And we'll just pop down here and trace our edges. Pretty easy repair here, guys. Oh, relax a little bit. You're so tense, you relax. Cleaned her 90 up because I broke her a little too much over there. A mistake was made. That's not a sharp 90, it's kind of gradual. So I broke her a couple more times. I'll get her there. Send it. We interrupt this video for husband-dad duties. Yep, that's probably why your car was making a noise. What you doing, woman? Huh? Quit going off-roading that Traverse. Yeah, throw it over here. You're welcome. Throw it right there where we can get it stuck in one of ours instead. Oh yeah, she smells good. Theo, Mom got you a stick. That's good enough for my stick running over wife. All right, 2 little things, not huge improvements, but kinda. let's start to picture our bumper. Oh, damn dirty bumper. I kind of spitballed a couple ideas on the second channel looking at this, and I think we may go for a 5-inch bumper. Obviously, the taller the bumper, the lower the truck's gonna look, and it needs it, and that's how they came from the factory. So see, I don't think a 5-inch tall piece is gonna look bad there. You wanna see what they're doing from the factory? Ugh. Ah! Look at that scary SOB. How tall is that one? About a good old 10-incher. She got about 10 inches on her. Golly, I guess everyone smacked those things in because that one's smacked too. We're actually wanting to do something similar as far as wrap it and step it in somehow. I don't think we're going to come this far back, but I promise you, if Toyota were putting bumpers on something like that, they knew they needed it to step down some. These things just sat like monster trucks from the factory. She's ready to go mud bogging straight out of Japan. Let me disclose, I'm more worried about how this bumper looks than versus how it functions, meaning there's never going to be a trailer on it. So with all that being said, I also plan on kind of distressing it, probably just making it mostly rusty. So we can use some rusty metal. Here's another piece of that 5-inch we're going to need, and it's actually sitting on a piece of 6-inch, so we may use this as the back of the bumper. And then I see we got some 2.5, probably looks like some 3-inch. I'm gonna figure us out a combo to build something here. You can tell I really planned this out. Yeah. No! I'm getting old and brittle. Now, I pretty much plan on coming up here. I wouldn't mind overhanging it a 1/4 inch or so. So we gotta go measurement inside to inside these rubber bumpers. 61 inches. I'm sure as long as we can fit it in there, it'll cut it right. Even if we got to manually move the guard. You like my adjustable stand? So close. Next, we're going to figure out the top piece. And it's going to have to come from in here and kind of out and around this way. So it needs to be wider than the whole bed. So we want to go past that bumper 1 inch, which means we'll want to go past this bumper 1 inch. So if we say that's 65.5, add 2 inches, we're going for 67.5. The end of this piece started to get a little wonky. It's all warped, and we got into a little bit of wonkiness, but I think we'll be all right. Each end, we need to go 4 1/4 over, and probably 1.5 inches out. She needs a little notchy notch. 4 1/4 over, 1.5 inches. Whoop! Woo! This will be the corner of our bumper, so we want to get a radius on it. For that, we'll use our cutoff wheel. Clean our corners up. Now in theory, we should be able to mark center of this piece, center of that piece, tack them together. This is going to be our top, and that's the start to our bumper. And I'm just winging it and danging it and firing from the hip, making it up as we go. Now I have to check this as I go down through here. And I noticed I made this piece longer because I accounted for this being able to come around that other rubber bumper. I don't know. We may have to fine tune this. I'm going to work my way down through, making sure we're 1 inch out there each step of the way. I notched that in, which was a mistake. My next mistake was welding this piece on already. I meant to swoop this sucker in, and now I've got to do it with it welded, which is not going to be fun. I copied our desk to poster board because I actually wanted to swoop in this way. Now, there really ain't going to be too much of a swoop. We just got to have some. Got that all smooth out. So to do the outside of this 5-inch, I've got 3 pieces that we're just gonna have to make work. So right now, I think I'm gonna use 2 pieces, and we're gonna actually end up using 4 pieces. Anyhow, I think I'm gonna try to bend this piece to flow good out to about right in here. And then we'll do the same thing over there. And then this will be a straight shot with a curve. Oh man, no! I done 2 marks over here. I was supposed to do all of this work off of that right there. So I've got to tune that in. All right, that was not a hard adjustment. We just had to do it. From center to center is going to be 7 inches. Then we want to mark over here, 7 inches. But we're going to use our break. So then we're going to go 1/8 inch before and an 1/8 inch after a couple times. And then just like earlier, how we used on that sheet metal, you do a few bends and you get more of a radius, not such a sharp one. We're gonna attempt that right here. Now the radius ain't huge, so a dab will do you. 3 marks, see how that does a steady swoop. And a quick check, and it needs a little sharper, so we'll go back to the middle, give her a little more. And we are just about there, my friends. Damn overachiever. I thought I barely moved it. I moved her a lot. It's all right. We'll kind of tap down on it and we'll fine tune her into place. Couple love taps to knock some of that out. And now we are matching pretty stinking good. Kind of figure me out an area where we can bend that away now. Whoop. Just keep working it. Tapping it, breaking it. That's looking pretty good right there. I'm a damn old expert at the junk bumper, ain't I? Bevel that where we can butt it up, bend this one up for the other side. Fun fact, this is the metal left over from doing my base plates. So like that right there's got some black caulk stuck to it. Oh, scrappy. Put us a bevel on this and on our bent pieces. I'm gonna end up welding that and unfortunately having to smooth it out. It's gonna be a lot. Get a few tacks on here, getting these pieces into place. But we're not gonna full commit until we get these ones on and make sure we're all square underneath here and everything. To skin the rest of this, we're basically doing the same thing. Except now we get to show off a little bit and fancy her up. Mark the 1 inch back, we go with our big radius, but up here at the top, we're gonna go with a smaller radius, and then we're gonna connect those dots, even though they're not dots. And that's the shape we're after. Ooh, looks a little better from this side. Of course, for making our radiuses, same process. Give her a little bend or 12. Just keep fine tuning it. And eventually we get her where she matches pretty good. Now here's where we really get to spice her up. We're gonna take her from looking like that to that. About to hole saw these suckers out. I decided to go with 1 3/4 inch of a hole saw. People always want to ask, how do you figure out your spacing? Guys, it ain't I don't know. There's not a way I do it. I looked and I decided I didn't want the hole to go much past right there. So I roughly put a mark and I knew I wanted to roughly start over here. So for this one, it works out where I went 2 inches from this edge and then every 5 inches. As long as you do that on one side then the other, she's gonna end up symmetrical. Boy, that camera's just a shaking. I must have broke it. Drill that out, give this thing the Pot County polish, and I'm gonna give her a quick deburr. My drill press don't quite keep it perfectly straight, so it walks a little bit. And it creates this nice little razor sharp edge in there. Kind of got my process figured out now. Let's look at her. Woo! Spanking this baby out. A little flip and press to flatten her back out. Woo! Who needs one more spanking? Yes, sir. Sorry, that's just getting awkward. I'll tell you what's not awkward. Having the best looking bumper in Pot County. Woo! Got an ember in that baby. Hot mama. That sucker right there is in my glove playing hot potato. Well, we're tacked up. Like I said, we're figuring it out as we go. So I guess we're gonna have to mount our license plate on the bottom holes, which that don't bother me none. So next, we'll look at stepping a piece out, because all them old school bumpers used to have a piece that'd come out where you put your trailer balls. Again, we're not gonna tow a trailer with this, but we're kind of replicating that. And I like those. So I measured from just the other side of each little welt joint, and we need 27 inches. We're going to use this 6-inch wide, 1/4-inch thick that we built the back with for that same piece, or for that piece down there. Cutting around our corners, one thing we got to do to make it convincing is you got to put a big old hole there like you're going to put a trailer ball on it so we can tow a damn semi-load, okay? People will see this, they'll be like, oh man, that's a real bumper. I bet he towed his single wide with that thing. Holy guacamole. This line right here is going to go to the edge, inch in from each seam. That's my marks there. Let's weld her in. Put a couple tacks on her. Set her plate up there. Am I crazy or did something just fly by my ear? I heard something go woo. Holy crap. Here we go, yo! Here we go, yo! Puddins.fab in the house. Oh! Yeah, we had to celebrate a little. Mainly celebrate that all the welding and grinding is done. It's done on that bumper. This morning I brought it over here to mock it up for the first time. Always keep you some wood blocks, guys. Those are your best buddy old pals when mocking stuff up. I messed up. Now we know this piece ain't straight because it's been hit right here. You already see me pull it over there. But this bumper, and you can tell like right there we're pretty much touching. This side runs pretty straight, and as you can see we get with a gap over there and over here. Once we get that super straight, about right there should be about like that. That means that bumper's kind of curving. And as I went to weld this up out here, there's so much stress on it because it all started to warp from all the heat that it pops my tack. And basically I just didn't tack stuff enough as often as I should have down through there. Now, not really a big deal though, because obviously I was able to bend it back up, weld it up, and she looks pretty good. We're gonna figure out how to put bumper brackets on this thing now. Are you here to lend a paw or what? We got some frame rail right there where we could put a bolt and put a bolt. So we should just be able to drop a simple bracket down to this bumper. So we'll just use our angle finder here, kind of figure out the amount of drop we're gonna need, which is about right in there. And then we can do some terrible measuring here, and I can roughly get us something figured out. I'm pretty good at doing the stuff roughly. Marked over 1.25 inches. Boop. Then I took this, whoop. Now I'll measure how much we got to drop down, then how much over here, blah, blah, blah. Here's the first one, and then I had to make a little modification, just add a little bit. Second time's a charm, and there we go. You remember that part yesterday where I said I was ready to do some fabricating? Now I'm tired of it. We'll get some eyeballs on it. We're about to lock it in. Dang, that baby's perfectly level. Up there was 0.0, down here 0.1. Lock it in. Yippee-yoo! Little weld action. I got our other side welded. And then one at a time, guys, I've been putting a bolt in here and checking it each time. Give her the eyeball, make sure she ain't moving around on us or nothing. We've got bumper brackets now. Put a little torque on them. This should lower our truck a little more in the back. Got a couple 100 pounds hanging out the rear. I literally just seen it drop. Woo! All right. I think I like it a little better with them jacks out of the way. Well, I didn't feel it move any, and that's kind of what I wanted to check. Again, we don't ever plan on really using it, but if it was going to move on us, we could add more brackets, but I don't think it's going to be necessary. Dang, who's in that old Stout? Hell, that's pudding. You like that rolling shot? No, not again. Not again. Now that you've successfully squeezed underneath there to weld, jack the truck up. That's smart. I hope you got your sander ready, because we're doing brake pads. And I wish I was joking. Out with the old. However, before we go in with the new, we gotta grind them down. If you can't find your brake pad, it's probably because it's in your front pocket, okay? I tried literally beating these into there, and they will not go. So these little parts here that go in the slide, I'm just shaving it just a hair, and then it's just enough it'll go. Sometimes you gotta shave it if you want it to fit. Shove our piston back in, get the leaf out. Then I got us some Hucky Puck that I'm actually gonna put on these slides. I may even slick that baby up. Lubricant is good for stopping. Said no one ever. All right. Come on. Come on. There we go. There we go. Maybe. With that ready to go, now we gotta get this ready to go. These pads are a little different, so they're wanting to drag this lip that's left on our rotor. Yes, sir. Did you order the custom turnt rotors? Coming right up. That'll smooth out that little rough edge it cut in. We may even performed a little weight reduction on them spindles by accident. minute ago I noticed for some reason we got some brake fluid over here. So, oh well, it's coming from up there. Oh, it's over full from me shoving the pistons back in. Fresh new tube of grease, fresh new tip. Let's go give her a little luber-duber. All the ball joints are new, so they're completely dry. We'll get them lubed up. I went ahead and hit everything else too. Yeah, she's stuck. And I've got some quick little piddly stuff on my list, like pulling this, so these aren't flapping when we're driving. Come to sweet papa, come on. Dang, that thing needed some lube, huh? Here's an inoperable parking brake. One at a time, I'm swapping out our hardware for some washers and nylocks. Don't want that beautiful bumper falling off going down the road. Now we don't want to be blowing fuses, so right here, I'm gonna put us a good thick piece of heat shrink. I'm not even gonna try to fit a rubber grommet in 1/4 inch thick metal. It's just asking to get angry. We'll just double up our protection. It gives us wire to run to that one. I got these little things, I love these. Got a little earth magnet and they're a zip tie holder. We could drill a hole there, but all the clamps I have are just way too big for 2 wires, so this will work. Just something to keep it from hanging. Yeah, yeah! But there's how you lubricate your impact. Ooh, that gear oil is actually fresh looking. They had a recent change on it. We should have left that. Dang, she's brand new. Down the drain she goes. So we let that drain. I'm gonna start a little disassembly on the drive shaft. I ordered one from Southwest Speed. They keep them in stock in 1/2 inch increments. I think I may have told y'all that. Anyhow, I ordered one. I read online these have a 1310 U-joint, which is good because that's what theirs comes with. So we should just be swapping our yokes. What's that? Oh, why don't I use my press? It's kind of a pain in the butt to hold all this stuff and press it and everything by yourself.
Beating on it here.
Beating on it. Whoop on it.
Yeah, you do it, D.O.
Her driver there, he loves Theodore. Hey, right there, Spicer. Woo, baby. Thought she was supposed to have paint on her. She just raw dogging it, huh? I beat our other end off as well. They sent her with an extra cap. They must have seen how we install these things, huh? Dang! I'd say she's only a little out of balance. Golly. And another up here. Boy, don't tell me quality's going downhill. Quick little comparison. It looks about right. Well, I'll tell you what, this one's a tight fit. There we go. I'm reaching that up through there and putting it on this lip and then smacking this down to widen them ears. She's a seamer show truck, so we gotta clean all the parts. Gonna go for a little hone job inside where the U-joints go. Get you some Scotch-Brite, and then you can hone where your caps go. Well, I tried to pull that out of there because the camera died and I was going to show you putting it in, and instead it flung off my pliers and now it is lost probably forever. I heard ba-ding-a-bing-ding, roll, roll, roll. Where did you go? We don't know. Well, shit the bed, Fred. She hid over here by the trash can. If I was smart, I'd get me better snap ring pliers, but I ain't smarts. Here we go again. Loosey-goosey. This one, I mean, it's loose. It's just got enough tension to hold it. Let's give her a little massage. That time I just used the drive shaft as a hammer. It's just bending those back out because we had hammered on them, guys. Couple more smacks, she's perfect. I make it rain on them hoes. Up next, little aerosol overhaul. You want to get your shaft clean because this sucker is filthy. We'll zoom in on the last few strokes. Sorry, Chris. Just don't think about it too much. Show was dirty. Say hello to my little friend. I got just enough paint to not finish the job probably. This is a little semi-gloss and a little gloss. Should work. We don't want to watch paint dry. I slapped another light on, no big deal. I changed our mount. I remembered I just wanted to zip tie it up there, so I drilled a couple holes. I slapped our plug in, and I realized I don't have a way to fill our transmission. I need one of them pumps you can put on the bottom. My last one had broke. So I got one of them on the way. So as I'm waiting on that, we're waiting on paint to dry. Maybe I can get Nate Dogg over here to help me bleed some brakes. Do the old stomping bleed, my favorite method. Oh, does that bleeder not want to get tight? Go ahead. Got the front pretty good here. Is that pedal feeling better?
Yeah.
A little bit? Mm-hmm. Can't see, you got your camouflage on. Is your knee rubbing the blinker?
Yeah, that's right. Like that, yeah.
Tall guy problems? A tall Mexican, is that an oxymoron or what?
Yes, actually, that's an example.
Are you the only one?
Yes.
Only one I've ever seen?
Yep.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. One more, go ahead. All right, you're good. Does she feel like a decent brake pedal?
Yeah, it's better.
Not like a Bill brake pedal? Bill tell you brake pedal's good. You'll go drive something and drive into the creek because the damn thing don't stop. Bill's like, yeah, that's a good brake pedal in there. Go to pull out of here and not be able to freaking stop. It's happened more than once. Got her pumped up full with our Redline MT90. She's the high performance lubricant for the manual transmissions. I think that means it's full. I wanted to put our drive shaft in. I was just looking for our drive shaft bolts. 3 of them. I've got 3 of them. Where'd the other one go? I don't know. I looked all underneath the toolbox to make sure it hadn't fell off there. I moved my damn closet. I looked through the aerosol aisle. She gone. So we're gonna have to slap 3. Well, we'll put something else in there and then we're gonna have to get one of these, I guess. Paint is dry enough to be sticky where we can fingerprint it real good. Here we go. I guess I did pretty good on my measuring, guys, because that's perfect. Holy cow. Holy cow. Holy. Yeah, this bolt here will be temporary, but it'll get us test driving anyhow. I never checked to see if that had any in there. It does. And in fact, just like our transmission, that gear oil looks nice and fresh. Smells good too. Dang, someone had serviced on the 92 before she blew her motor or whatever she had did. Why am I nervous? I'm a little nervous. We put this last wheel on, and I don't see a reason why we can't try to drive this thing. That's why I'm nervous. Don't be nervous. Mama didn't raise no punk. Should be doing a little booty bounce because we're excited. Keep going, baby. Woo, she's ready to go. Oh, what the heck? This thing sounds like a machine gun for. What the heck, Over? That's new. Started this thing a couple days ago. That's not embarrassing at all. Apparently all that headlight action, it just drained the battery down. The good news is she started. First time driving the Stout, guys. I guess when your alignment's off bad enough, she won't even roll backwards out here. Dang, this thing looks like it's sitting lower. Theo had to come check it out. Does it look lower out here? I think it does. Maybe just because it's in a more open space. I don't know. Whew, them bumpers made that thing look so much lower. That little thing's hammered. There's a whole lot of crunchiness going on. We may be paying a price for getting it sitting that low, and I tubbed it. But if we're going to be smacking bumps real fast, it may not be enough. Holy cow. Yeah, I think we're getting into our tubs. One tubby. But that's not good. It's because those torsion bars are settling though. Look, we're starting to tuck some tire right there. So we could actually lift it back up some. I was gonna say, we weren't tucking that much before. We're not upset about that, guys. The lower, the better. I mean, let's just get that front cross member on the ground, why don't we? She is running and driving, though. Let's take her up and down the driveway a couple times. We'll go easy, where we're not beating it. I mean, I come flying through these dips. Huh? Little fresh gravel we just munched up. I told y'all she sits low. Let's take her up and down a few times. Let the weight of that thing bounce. Maybe we can actually see how the rear feels, and we'll see if that front continues to settle. Smacking that's exhaust. That's our tub. So either our torsion bars are entirely too loose, which I can't remember if I had backed them off or not, but the front end has definitely settled. We went from being able to grab or get a fist in there to I can't even drive this thing. We may just knocked our exhaust off on the plus. Here we go, here comes a bump. Oh, go. Oh, free grading here at Puddins. Well, I think it's safe to say the front has yeah, I bet it's sitting lower like we wanted it to do. What y'all think? Oh yeah, she is tucking at least an inch of tire in the front now, where before we had like 2.5 inches. The thing is though, that cross member gets so low. I know that looks good, but unfortunately I think we are going to have to pick that up just a hair. Be a whole lot cooler if we didn't have to though. Can't even tell how the back's riding because the front's dragging so much. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine. She revs a lot less in reverse. Sounds good. It has now settled so much that we have lost our turning ability. So a quick little 6-point turn into the shop, and let's look at where our torsion bars are set. All these old timers are yelling at their computers. That's why you don't slam everything, you dummy. Blah blah blah. First drive, success. I measured our torsion bar bolts. Our original measurements were right here. Of course, I've replaced these bolts. We were below the original measurements, which means they were too loose. And in fact, I'm going a little above and beyond that as well. It's exactly what I was aiming for. Let's look at some of the carnage. Link bars were dragging. Maybe y'all seen the gravel I collected up there. But when we look in our wheel well, yeah, I notched it to right there, but it's coming all the way forward. And then look, I mean, it's all the way back in here, guys. If I notched it that far, right there's our firewall. I mean, we're gonna get into all kinds of mess. Ooh. Before I had to jack that up just where I could get the lift underneath it. Now she is sitting like a monster truck. It's all right. That means we may actually be able to drive it. Well, it already ain't rubbed, so it's doing better than it was. Woo! This thing rides pretty good. As far as hitting that little drop-off feels. Hey! Here comes a bump, though. We didn't get in the fender wheels that time. That's good. Here we go. Here's some bumps. Oh, something smacked hard. That may have been our drive shaft to that cross member. I notched it, but I don't know if it would have been enough. I did about as much as I could. Well, obviously that was a significant improvement. A little scrapage there, but we're going through some deep ruts here, folks. I'm trying to figure out what that clunking is. And that's actually why I'm running over some of this stuff, because I think most of it has paint on it, so it'll self-identify what the problem is. Oh yeah, we got her to clunk a little there. Now we're ready to look. Main thing is, let's see if she looks like a monster truck. Why, yes. Yes, she does. I don't know. I don't hate it. I thought I was gonna absolutely hate it. It's actually sitting about how it used to sit inside the shop. And luckily with the bumpers on there, it still looks like it's sitting pretty low. The problem is, we can maybe go a little lower, but without plumb cutting into our firewall and stuff, we're gonna be a little limited on some options here, folks. Maybe put some smaller tires on this sucker, get some wire wheels. Hey, you got an extra set of wire wheels? Guys, I'm not profiling. His dad has a 63 Impala in his garage. That was a fair question. Yeah, I don't know where this leads us, guys. May just have to take it out to St. Louis salvage and crush the whole thing. This side, she looks like she's sitting like a damned old gasser. Got the gap in the front, tuck in the back. We can pick up on the back of here if we need to. Yeah, it sits low enough I can't see nothing as far as trying to identify our clunkety on this piece of junkety. Round 2 on the torsion bars. Instead of 3.5, I went to 3 3/8, and that's an 1/8 inch difference on our threads, which don't seem like much until you bounce it, and it actually dropped it down quite a bit again. So right in there is kind of close to where we originally were sitting before the torsion bars had settled back in. And then back here on our coilovers, this little piece is a locking collar, so I loosened the lock on it and I tightened these up, and I measured from the bottom up to there, exactly 1 inch on each side. I don't know how much you should do. I just know that's about what we got on the Model A. And it did pick up the back, but with the front coming down, it kind of balances out where it's almost sitting level again. Still too high, but it's level. You want to go for another ride, or did that first one scare you? Don't be a sissy. And I may have found a Denim Dave up in the loft. Oh, some bread. Don't be stepping on my Wonder Bread. This trick's slick. He thought it was a piece of bread, then it's tricked me. I thought it was a piece of bread, then it got old top stitch. He thought it was a piece of bread. Oh, that's the front.
Was that the inner fender?
Yeah. Oh!
He's waving you down there.
So that dunk I was hearing from behind was the axle bottoming out in the C-notch. Now again, these springs are super soft because they're only 180-pound springs, which is not a very stiff spring. So that hasn't done it again, at least. Now the front, on the other hand, yeah, it's not happy. Here comes the bumps. doing better. Maybe she finally, oh, shouldn't have said nothing. Go. The ultimate test.
We ain't never getting out.
Through the pudding canal. Oh! Self-clearance or it won't. Front still rubbing. Oh. I think we got them settled in again.
That one bump made me sound like Bill. I said, oh.
Right on. This sucks, guys, because all I really wanted to do was drift that thing that we were on by the end of this video. And unless we want flat tires in the front, I don't think we better not be doing that. Could be worse, I guess.
Get me out of this thing.
You stuck me up, boy. Show them what we're rubbing.
I don't know.
See, just so y'all know I'm not crazy. He's like, what are you even rubbing? There ain't nothing there.
God,
Hell, I don't know.
I know my arms are little, but damn,
I don't know.
there ain't nothing in there.
I guess it just rides so soft that it don't take much to get it there. Theo's like, hell, I'll look at it. Let me stand right in the way. Get up there again, Cowboy Roy.
I can't do it.
Can't even get nothing to rub.
I'm trying to pinch my own damn fingers. Look.
You look good. That technique. Look like you're trying to kickstart a horse. Who remembers these ugly things? So, I thought these were going to be smaller diameter, but they look the same. Now, they're probably not quite as wide. Maybe. They're actually about the same too. Well, never mind. All right, guys. Well, that kind of just bummed me out. Pretty unexpected. I bounced that good, built those around that. I guess this thing just rides so soft. I don't know. What I'd like to do next to try on it is to just whoop on it with a hammer, honestly, in the spots that it's hitting, and see if we can clearance it just enough. Top stitch took our seat and our door panel. We're gonna do something real simple, some red Mexican blanket and just some gray vinyl. We popped those on, and I just want to show you because I guess I didn't. Our license plate light's working. Of course, our tail lights we got working. And then, guys, the white lights up in the turn signals just wasn't it for me. So I went to amber bulb on there, and I just like the orange better. Calling me old-fashioned. Apparently our headlights no longer work, so we're doing some good solid work around here. Here's how we end on a positive note. Jeez. Ain't even got headlights now? Show you how that looks when she's flashing orange. Yeah, that orange looks pretty good. And to end on an even more positive note, our hood release that has not messed up once this whole time is now no longer working. So I can't even get the hood open. On a positive note, slamming the door somehow turned our headlights back on. A win's a win. Here we go. Now she's lit up. So, not exactly how I was hoping to end this go around. I really had some wind in my sails, and then this end here just kind of kicked me in the nads. All of that used to be out here. Woo-hoo-hoo! Go back through the deep valley. Hey-yo. 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 You got something on your face. Goodness. Y'all didn't even get to see me slide it. I guess I'll do it again. Y'all like that? I call that the old sliding pick. Should have my window down where I could grab y'all. All right, guys. is 100 times better. Maybe you can hear the clunking in the back. That's a good thing in the sense that I lowered the back down. Instead of 1 inch, we're at 11/16 of thread, so I've picked it up some. The front, I lowered back down, not to 3 1/8, but I went to like 3 1/4. So everything's actually sitting lower than it was yesterday when we were driving and everything was rubbing. Well, that door sure likes to come open. It really just wants me to roll off this thing of water and go for a belly roll, I guess. And just like that, gassing it around there. Did y'all hear any rubbing? Only time I've got it to rub so far is if I'm turning super duper hard and going like up a hill, and then I don't know, sliding around some when I had the wheel cut hard. I may have heard it, but I actually want it to rub because I repainted the stuff. That way we can see where it's rubbing once again. We may massage those areas a little more, and I believe we're actually going to have plenty of clearance here. This thing's got to be running on fumes at this point. This thing had a low tank before we ever took it apart. Here we go through the crater. You heard scraping, but that was cross member to ground. That was not fender well. Anything that's not fender well is a win. I just turned in super sharp into the in front of the approach here. No rubbing. I was so bummed out yesterday, and then Top Stitch said, hell, I'd beat it with a hammer. And for this build, guys, it's not that I just want to say we beat the crap out of it, but let's not act like I built a high quality show truck here, guys. I beat on it, I sprayed paint on it. It looked about the same as it did before. I'll show it to you next time we whoop on it. Turn our headlights off. All right, let's see how she's sitting. And oh yeah, from beating on it, I may have broke our bright relay. So now even though these are off, there we go. You hit the truck wrong, they'll turn back on. So how do we end up sitting? Our front's sitting lower than I originally thought it was going to. Now we're not as low yesterday as where we were tucking tire, but before I had about a 2-finger gap from on top of the tire to there. So we are actually sitting probably about 3/4 of an inch lower than I thought we were going to. Good stance. The back, actually with where I have it adjusted, she's sitting pretty level. Now as far as the clunking goes, in the rear, guys, I'm not afraid to C-notch that more. I put a little baby C-notch on there, kind of going into this unknown, thinking the front was going to be sitting higher. If us getting it lower and lower requires a little bit bigger C-notch, then one day on the second channel maybe we'll whip her in here. I'll show you how to build a bigger notch. We'll keep it where it fits underneath the bed, cuts out the old C-notch. It'll work. It ain't hard to fabricate one of them. I'm as good at it, I promise. So I'm actually ending the video now because this is all kind of behind the scenes after I thought I was done with the video. I'm thankful we got out here and whooped on it, because now instead of being in a bad mood this weekend because of that silly Stout, I'm in a pretty good mood this weekend because of that silly Stout. Hey Chris, I think we're about to do some spanks. Not me and you together. That one video where I was spanking and you put all the spank noises to it, I was dying watching that. That crap was funny. Theo's naked, everybody. Ah! My in-laws are sleeping in the Mortsky suite right now. Or they were sleeping.